Welcome everyone to another edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I'm your hardcore host Rick Head, and I'm joined by the hardcore crew. First, he's the Lord Skeleton himself, Joseph Knight. Joe, what's shaking?
Well, definitely not this show that just passed from AEW. I can tell you that.
Yeah, not one of the better Dynamite shows this week. Uh, but for us over in Lance Moss TV, he's the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, what do you thought about tonight's show?
Well, if that was a stick of dynamite, they needed new damn fuse.
You know what? I have to agree with you. And of course, we have KCW's Zoe Nightshade. Zoe, how you doing, hon?
Exhausted. I'm ready for Friday.
Well, let's get over with this week. I'm sorry, but there were a couple of good matches, but the rest of it was just, the matches are like I was falling asleep. The promos themselves, there was MJF who was who was talking about CM Punk, and he was talking about how cried about how he was a kid and how he loved CM Punk and this and that, and then CM Punk left for wrestling, and I mean it went on for like a good 5 or 10 minutes. And then of course Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston, their confrontation, that went on for another 20 minutes. Joe, what's the point of having a conversation? I wouldn't say 20 minutes, but like a good for that long.
Oh, I don't know. The whole thing was putting me to sleep. MJF and his bully and whatever fucking health mental issues he had, and then shedding a tear, reminding me of the old '70s commercial when the American Indian used to watch the litter on the floor and he would drop a tear. It was that phony to me. As far as Jericho, and Eddie Kingston concerned, here's Eddie Kingston, who's a 40-something-year-old guy trying to act like a 19-year-old gangster thug from the streets. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And here's Jericho looking really great. He's built and everything, but you could tell his days are numbered.
Well, you know what? Now that we mentioned you brought that subject up, Lance, let me ask you, who do you think's going to win during this match, Jericho or Kingston?
I think Jericho is going to put Kingston over because he's trying to make Kingston.
Yeah, you know what? I have to agree with you because right now, as you said, Jericho's days are numbered. He's getting to that point and he has no problem putting younger talent over. Zoe, your thoughts?
Same. Same.
Yeah.
All right. Joe, let me ask you, what would you say was the match of the night?
Oh, wow. Oh, geez. Match of the night. The only thing I could say the best match of the night was the tag team battle royal. That was the only thing that even kept me awake. All the other matches weren't that. Look at that. Look what a kind of a main event they gave us. Freaking Bryan Danielson versus a jobber. And trying to push the jobber over like he's $1 million. And no. They could have done something way better. So yeah, the only thing is just the battle royal.
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our listeners, Terry Boyer, who says, "I think it's a push for Kingston," so he agrees about Jericho putting over Kingston, and then of course again, he also agrees that all it was promos, and unfortunately there were more promos in wrestling, and that was like they took a page out of WWE's book, and that's I'm sorry, it's just. It got really under my skin. I'm like, what the hell? What's the point? I understand that AEW has its great nights and has one of its worst nights. And for me, it was one of the worst nights. Zoe, what would you say the best match of the night?
I personally, I liked the main event. I thought it was a good main event. There's a lot of technical wrestling in it, and I'm a big technical wrestling fan. Other than that, I think that I like the House of Black versus Pac and Penta. I enjoyed that tag team match.
That was another decent match, and we also saw the debut of Buddy Matthews, also previously known as Buddy Murphy. Um, so the fact that he actually joined the House of Black after after Malachi Black, I guess you can call him, but in AEW, pretty much beat the shit out of him all the time. They had like a really bad feud where Murphy at the time was getting his ass kicked. So I think, Joe, honestly, we all saw the turn coming where he was going to join Malachi Black.
Oh yeah, there's a term I say. Stevie Wonder, Sammy Davis Jr., Ray Charles, they all saw this coming, and Ronnie Millsap all saw this little turn coming. I mean, again, wrestling is so predictable these days. They did not give it any real thought behind this, and anybody could see it. My thing is, I think Buddy Murphy, whatever his freaking name he's going to be used now, I think he's too good for the House of Black. I think this guy could have been his own guy, could have probably really, really done something different, but, we got what we got.
All right. Zoe, your thoughts about Buddy Matthews signing, joining the House of Black?
Honestly, it kind of shocked me that he ended up in AEW because I hadn't heard any rumors that he was going to AEW. I don't know if I like the fact that he's going to be in the House of Black. He doesn't look the part for that particular faction. I kind of figured he would go on with the singles career and, work everybody.
And you know what, Lance? They both have a very strong point. Is that you have Brody King and you have Malachi Black, who are like 6 plus foot, 300 pounds, and you got Buddy Murphy, who's like the smaller guy. Do you really think he's gonna fit in?
I honestly think that he's going to be a short-term member because these two have actually been a team for a long time. Like back to back to Malachi Black's independent days before he was at the WWE. So I kind of think he's going to be kind of a short-term because they've already started teasing it. I don't know if I want to do this or not. I don't know if I want to do this or not already. So yeah, probably short term.
All right. Fair enough. Let's change gears. Let's get into Kenny Omega. Apparently, will be staying out a little bit longer than expected. How did that? Sorry, guys. A little technical bullshit there. We'll start with AJ Styles is re-signed with the WWE. Now, according to reports, AJ Styles had re-signed a $3 million a year contract with the company. When Styles signed the contract back in 2019, he claimed that he wanted to retire, which was this year, spend time with his kids, and just get out of the business. Styles said that he loved the WWE, and he's going to be loyal to the company, and even after his wrestling career is done, he wants to stay within the company in some shape or form. Joe, your thoughts?
Well, for the amount of money he was offered per year, I think he is going to be a company man. They offered him at least $2 million for, I think it's like for a year each year. So
it's 3, but yes.
Okay, $3 million. Still, that's $3 million. You can't turn that down. If he asks for some easy, a lighter schedule, I believe he is going to get it. So honestly, I think this is a good move for him. They probably made him a deal that he could stay home at a couple of times, maybe be with his family and wife. So I think this is a win-win for him. He's getting up in age. He can still perform, but let's face it, you can only do wrestling for so long before you get burnt. And AJ has done already in the short time a lot in the company. So him getting 3 mil a year, maybe a lighter schedule, I think it's just a way of keeping him away from AEW, to be honest.
And you know what, Zoe, that's a very fair point. AJ Styles, he is getting up in age, but again, phenomenal wrestler, no pun intended. But he also does a lot of high risk moves. So, your thoughts?
I mean, the way I see it is he's got like what, 4 or 5 different kids. You gotta be making money. You got college to pay for. You got cars that you're gonna have to pay for each of these kids. You've got prom to pay for each of these kids. Car insurance for these kids. I mean, he did a smart thing by staying with the company, especially whenever he's more likely to retire from in-ring competition and still have a place in the company.
All right, Lance, final thoughts.
I'll put it like this. He'll be a company man unless he is the victim of another list that comes out for people that get released. But then again, 3 mil for however many years, I'd be a damn company man myself for that much damn money.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Nobody can really argue that fact.
Get your money, AJ.
For $3 million a year, who wouldn't? We have an update on Kenny Omega. Unfortunately, he's going to be out longer than expected. We knew that he was taking some time off, that you could just kind of, take care of some of his little ailing injuries. But now the former AEW champion announced that he will be needing an umbilical hernia operation, which is going to take about 6 to 8 weeks to recover. So he will not be at Revolution. Joe, again, when it comes to big name wrestlers who get injured and the constant injuries time and time again, like AJ Styles, Kenny Omega just doesn't stop. He keeps on going and keeps on going until, you get too many injuries you can't ignore.
Well, here's the thing, the wrestling bug is hard to kick. And number two is when you're a person like Omega who's done a lot in the business, let's face it, this professional wrestling is, once you make it to the top of the heap, like Kenny has, it's very hard to come back down, from that. He's going to nurse his injuries. He's going to take it easy, but he's going to come back. He's going to stay a couple more years. That's the hardest part of being in professional wrestling, is trying to leave it. Unless you got, say, money saved that you can live out, or, and not do anything, or you have a side business. Wrestlers are, even older wrestlers from the bygone era, have always found it hard to hang it up. Rock and Roll Express, perfect example. Now that Ricky Morton's opened a school, several people just can't walk away from it. So he's smart. He's going to take his time. He's going to heal up, and he's going to come back and do a couple more years.
Very good. Zoe, your thoughts on Kenny Omega and, working on his injuries?
Well, it's good that he is working on his injuries, because Kenny Omega's got a lot of fight left in him. I don't see him going anywhere for quite some time. Whenever he comes back, he's going to be better than ever.
All right. Lance, final thoughts.
Well, hey, sometimes you got to take some time and let your body recoup, because he just needed a rest and get healthy. So we'll see him back in the main events in AEW soon. Well, sometime this year, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally a huge fan of Kenny Omega, and even when he was during his championship, He was going to other promotions, working other promotions. I personally am missing Kenny Omega. So when he comes back, he'll come back with a vengeance, and there's a lot of new stars he can get. He'll be facing. So there'll be a lot of more great matches to look forward to.
Let's hope he comes back with his natural hair, not that horrible dye job.
God. They're stylish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sasha Banks, wanted to clear the air about the heat, with Ronda Rousey. Sasha Banks was a guest on Kurt Angle, and she wanted to clear the air, and she wanted to say that she never had any heat with Ronda Rousey. The thing that she was like a little aggravated about was that Rousey was getting paid more and get more TV time. Other than that, she had no problem with Rousey. So, Joe, I know that you are a lovely fan of Sasha Banks. But would you say that, does she have the right to stay where she has? I mean, would you say that, you have Ronda Rousey, who's only been in the show like for 1 year, and she gets huge money, and then you have Sasha Banks, who's been in there for years, and, she's getting paid less.
Well, let's not kid ourselves here. First of all, Sasha Banks has made money. There's no doubt that this little crybaby has made money. Okay, she has appeared in The Mandalorian. She has appeared in other places. So, the little BS of her crying about that is just an temper tantrum and looking for attention. Does Ronda Rousey deserve it? There's people who say yes, there's people who say no. I choose to say, to me, it doesn't matter. We got to watch it. Now, if you're backstage, I think it'll be perturbing you that somebody who's been out for a year does things sporadically. Just another Brock Lesnar comes in and beats up people and collects a paycheck and goes home. We see Goldberg do it all the time. But with Sasha Banks, you got to understand another thing too. She's been to the mountaintop too many times. She's been in too many storylines, too many little programs running around, that her luster is not there. I don't get excited seeing Sasha Banks. I could care less. Just like I'm tired of seeing Charlotte Flair. That's why I'm tired of seeing Becky Lynch. I'm tired of seeing the same people on the mountaintop. It is time for somebody else. And I think all this was just her having a little temperature and like, I want to be the spotlight. I'm the bestest ever. I think that was her thing. I grant it, Sasha Banks is talented. I don't like her gimmick, don't like the person, but I can't deny her wrestling skill, and she's got a heart that she wants to keep fighting and doing better. I think she just needs to throttle back a bit and just say, hey, you know what? Your time came. Sit in the corner now and be quiet. Be a good little girl. Sit in the quiet. Here's a lollipop.
Terry Boyer, I want to give a quick shout out to Terry Boyer, and she said she wants some money. Sasha should go back to work with Uncle Snoop.
There you go. See, somebody else that recognizes she wouldn't be where she is today without Uncle Snoop.
Well, one could say that Sasha, that Ronda Rousey, she wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for her role in UFC. If she never went to UFC and she just came in from the Performance Center, she would not be where she was at. And that's pure.
Absolutely. That is, and I agree with you. That is a cold hard fact.
Lance, your thoughts on the situation?
Well, it's simple. It's drawing power. Who has more of a name factor, Sasha Banks or Ronda Rousey? because the name Ronda Rousey, whether we like her in-ring ability or not, has more drawing power than the name Sasha Banks. Because it's going to get the people that like wrestling, like Ronda and hate Ronda, but it's also going to get the mainstream fan and the UFC fan. Sasha may be the Disney Plus fan and the wrestling fan. Ronda just has more drawing power. That's why she is getting paid more. Pure and simple.
Zoe, all right. Sorry about that technical. Final word, Zoe.
Oh God, it's like this.
Oh shit.
I cannot stand either one of them. Plain and simple. Sasha has made money. She's made a lot of money. She's been in the spotlight. She's held that belt numerous times. But for the other women in the back, for Ronda Rousey to come in out of the get-go and get handed all this money, all this camera time, title shots and everything, while you got other girls in the back that's been there doing this every single daggone day, doing house shows and being on TV and doing these autograph signings and whatnot, and wrestling through injuries as well. They're basically being crapped on while Ronda Rousey is sitting on the throne of WWE practically next to Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. It's not fair. For me, Ronda has not earned an opportunity in my book. And that's a slap in the face from a female wrestler's point of view. From my point of view, it's a slap in the face to the business.
All right. Now, Swerve is possibly heading to AEW, and this is according to Fightful Select. Isaiah Swerve Scott is apparently AEW is also interested in him just signing with the former North American champion. When he was asked, the Swerve there was rumors true. He simply responded that with a wink emoji. He didn't say yes, didn't say no. In a recent interview, Swerve stated that he's looking at all possibilities, and AEW is just one of them. Now, Joe, I know you really don't know who Swerve is. I don't know who he is. I just know that he was in NXT, and he was so I don't think, for me, honestly, will make a big deal or not. I don't know about you.
Really, I think currently right now, let's be honest, AEW is so packed that they cannot afford to keep bringing all these former WWE people in. They're, right now, they lost Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes left. Possibly there's rumors circulating around that Chris Jericho might be thinking of leaving. Because he's done it all. Right now, and he's a mentor in the back. Left. I think they're they're sending the wrong message of constantly getting these guys from WWE. They're pulling the same, I don't know, the WCW mentality, and that's what brought it down. Every time I look at this thing, I'm kind of really, I don't know. I can almost see the cracks forming. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can start seeing a little bit of the cracks starting to fall right now in AEW, and I hope not.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree because they are bringing a lot of people from WWE, even names that I'm not aware of. And I think, unfortunately, AEW should focus on their own wrestlers. Zoe, your thoughts?
Number one, no idea who this guy is. Number two, didn't Tony Khan just make an announcement that due to the budget he's not even going to be able to re-sign his own wrestlers. A lot of them, he's not going to be able to renew their contracts.
Huh. All right. And there are a couple of people who will. We're going to be getting to another wrestler who won't be re-signing. Lance, over to you.
I really had no idea who the hell this dude is, especially because during NXT is usually when we're doing my show on Tuesday night. So passing knowledge of who this dude is. I mean, I think he was in Hit Row, maybe. So yeah, no fucking idea who this dude is.
Yeah, again, nobody really seems to know. I try to look at him like, all right, maybe, and then I'm like, look at the history, and I'm like, I don't even know this guy. So I've heard the name Swerve, like, the way his name was, but other than that, didn't know who he was. Our last topic of the night is Angelico of Hybrid 2.0 took to Twitter and he stated that he'll reveal his future tomorrow. Angelico has not wrestled at all this year. It should be noted that his tag partner, Jack Evans, will be leaving AEW when his contract is up. So now I think it's easy for me to speculate that he won't be coming back anytime soon. He will be leaving his contract. What do you think, Joe?
To be honest, I don't even remember who the person is.
They were the tag teams that came down in green.
Like I said, I don't even know. The thing is, though, this is a kind of a good thing. We need to thin out some of this talent because, you look at what what was the two guys who love each other so much, the best friends. There you go, the best friends. Lord knows they're not getting anywhere. They need to go already. Leave Orange Cassidy. I'm surprised I'm saying that, but leave Orange Cassidy and send the other two guys out. They need to do a deep roster cleaning, and to me, I don't even remember who those guys were. That's how memorable they are. I think the more bigger news coming out is that Brian Pillman Jr. has left AEW. He's retired from professional wrestling. He is going home to be with his sister and take care of, I guess, his aunt.
Brian Pillman Jr.?
Brian Pillman Jr.
He said that he resigned.
Yeah.
He resigned?
Yes, he resigned.
Okay, because he said he was leaving to go.
No, he wrote a huge, heartfelt thing, and he says, I resigned. He goes, I love this company, and I am AEW, and
Okay, I think I can clear this up. He moved back to Cincinnati.
Right.
From where he was, but he's still going to be flying into AEW shows. He's just taking a little time to settle in.
Okay. So, all right, so that solved that problem. But yeah, like the other people, who cares? I don't even remember who they are.
I think we've gone around the corner, but you know what? Since we brought this up, so all right, this is where he goes 13. This Brian Pillman's words. 13 months ago, I moved to Jacksonville, Florida, to chase my dreams of becoming all elite. Without knowing, with the pandemic would end, I wanted to reduce my commute to temporary to venue, 2 flights. It's a 10-minute drive, which he did in Florida. I ultimately, along with Griff, earned the right to officially call ourselves All Elite. I would be lying, however, if I said that that this city didn't chew me up and spit me out in a good way. I did everything I could do, made every mistake, experienced every emotion possible. I signed a lease at home. I purchased the baddest car I could find. I fell in love with the baddest chick I had ever met. I rescued one dog from a shelter, and then we adopted another puppy. I trained my ass off at various gyms, art schools, including the Sacred Heart Foundation. He goes on and he goes, before we knew it, we had gotten over my head. I struggled to raise 2 dogs, heartbroken, got robbed. I got into a bar fights, canceled bookings. And I hurt some people who I care deeply. I had isolated myself pretty clearly, and excuse me, sorry, and family support, so I decided that it was pretty clear that today I start my journey to move back to Cincinnati. He did move to Cincinnati. Um, he continues on. I want to thank Tony for every
Yeah,
rumor.
he did. He did resign.
Holy shit!
That's what I'm saying. That's why he didn't resign. He resigned. He quit the company.
Well, the words and the way he was saying how he loved it, and then a couple of other other rumor mills say that he resigned, not resigned, but resigned. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And wow, I honestly, for me, I'm gonna say, guys, that's a shock. I don't know about you, Zoe.
That's a big shock, to tell you the truth, and a little bit of a disappointment. I like watching Brian Pillman Jr.
Yeah, absolutely. Lance, your thoughts?
I'm a little bit dumbstruck right now. Because, damn, he was an up and coming guy.
Well, I think honestly the issue is that they were that AEW wasn't pushing him, or at least even the tag team further far enough. You know, they give him a couple of wins.
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean for Griff and Julia Hart?
Honestly,
unemployment,
probably.
Unless he goes on his own, or Julia Hart. I'm sure that she can will be a wrestler, but she's another jobber. Unfortunately, you saw a tag team and Julia Hart, they were jobbed. And I think if AEW had pushed him a little bit harder and maybe gave him more spots, it would have happened. But let me ask you one more question, Joe, before we take off. Do you think that with a little bit more time, that that Brian Pillman Jr. could have actually gone forward with a career?
You know what? I think one of the factors here too is, which happens with every wrestling sibling, any second or third generation wrestler. Look at his name, Brian Pillman Jr. Sometimes that brings a lot of weight. And here's the thing: he looks like his dad when his dad was younger in WCW, starting out his career. So he's got a lot of similarities to his dad, and I think that a lot of people hold him up to that pedestal. So I think with that, and like he mentioned, a lot of the stuff that went on in his life and has happened to him. Honestly, I think he needed that break, and who knows? He could go home. He could take probably, he's made some good money. He can make appearances. He could do spot shows to make some money. Overall, I think this kid has a great career ahead of him. He just needs to kind of filter back and maybe rethink his career. Being Brian Pillman's son is a great thing. Being Chris Benoit's son is not a good thing. But being flying Brian Pillman or the loose cannon Pillman is beneficial, but also a curse to him. So I think he just needs to reinvent himself, take a time off, clear his head, because we all know mental health, and after going through so much stuff like he did, you need a break. You got to get away from stuff.
All right, guys. So you know what? We're going to wrap up this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I want to thank the Hardcore crew for joining us. Joe, we know you're over at Skulldon Realms. Tell everybody about it.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody check me out. Do the hashtag Skulldon's Realm. I do game streams from current to retro games, from consoles to PC. Make sure you check me out. Hashtag Scoldrens Realm. Make sure you also check out this Friday. I am doing TKWA's Nightmare 21. I'll be in the commentary booth. So make sure you do the hashtag TKWA. We are on Facebook, Trying to Kill Us Wrestling Association, Rick. And we forgot one more thing. Make sure you guys check out every Sunday night at 9:30 BC Games and More. BC and Mrs. A have been great watching the show and commentating. They're two awesome individuals. They do contests. They do streams, game streams as well. Make sure you guys check them out. And see, Lance, I didn't do one comment where you had to say my email.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you. I'm a little off today. We didn't have any good topics.
Yeah, he's got a point.
All right, Lance, and of course over to Lance Moss TV and friends. Tell everybody about it.
Well, every Tuesday night, me, Zoe, and whoever else shows up go live for about 2 hours. And it's at 7, basically whenever, if NXT's on, put that on in the background and just watch us.
Fair enough. Zoe, we know that KZW right now is still kind of in hiatus, so what are you doing?
As of right now, I'm still available for booking for other companies. So if you do want to book me for your company, shoot me a message over on my Facebook page at Zoe Nightshades.
And there you have it. So, for the hardcore crew, I'm your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying, we'll see ya when we see ya.
Buy the shirt!
And if you do want to buy the shirts, go to streamlab.com/ScoldrensRealm/merch, and you can see all of our t-shirts. Go out and buy one, and that's probably more exciting than whatever that tag team retired or whatever, whoever they were again, Angelico or whatever.